Sure. Donna, could you make me, I'm sorry, can you make full copies of that? Sorry.
So will it, Sal, I know that you said that you've been kind of looking at each position and giving a list of their duties. If you could just kind of reiterate what it is you're working on as far as clerical.
Sure. I did ask all our staff because job descriptions are very probably outdated, to say the least. So I think those of you who are getting, we need to reassess. And I'm doing this staff-wide. I started with clerical staff. I asked them to provide me a list of their current job duties so that we can examine, where they may be struggling, whether it's training or time efficiency, technology, tools, time management. And like I said, I think yes, I did get all the required exception to the clerk of the court, their response to that. So I'll be taking next couple weeks to reassess, to evaluate that against what their job description is.
So also one of the things that I think that some of the councilmen have kind of shared with me is the concern that because the city has been functioning kind of with a very limited staff, that maybe some staff have responsibilities that maybe were not on their initial job description when
Mhm.
they were hired on. Is that something that you're going to be looking into?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we need to make sure that we're not overloading staff. Because that what I'm seeing so far is that's obviously that is the reality because of the just being understaffed. I mean, it's just a natural occurrence when you have to get down to skeleton crews. But like I said, well, I mean, not to get too far off topic, but like for example, maintenance. There was only three full-time employees, one part-time. Now we have three additional full-time employees. So now, so we'll be able to kind of move forward there. So now they're kind of moving and shaking. We also have our licensed contractor on board with the team, so we're coordinating with him to move forward. Back to the clerical, again, that's I kind of was focused on that because we did have a little lag in work orders and stuff. Thank you very much. Okay, thanks.
Because I know that when we kind of cut the funding on the police department, there were some duties at the police department, like for permits, for example, there were some permits that we kind of shifted over here to City Hall, and I just want to make sure because I know that some of the council members had made that kind of assessment that maybe there were some responsibilities that were kind of passed on to some of the staff that maybe they're not familiar with,
Hmm.
and may need additional training. But also that, it may have been keeping them from actually doing their, day-to-day duties.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
are you going to are you looking at rewriting job descriptions or because to be honest, I mean, I haven't really seen a whole lot of like the job descriptions to a lot of our staff.
Mhm.
So you might have to look at rewriting these a little bit more specific to the like clerical one, clerical two,
Right.
that kind of
Yeah.
positions.
I know. I mean, I've been talking ever since our regular meeting this week. A lot of questions were raised by the staff. I did discuss briefly about the potential about restructuring. I've told the staff directly many times that I'm here to assess right now. I'm not making any hard decisions right now. I'm still assessing. I see what I see. I'd like to give ideally everything about 90 days. So we're in 30 days in, we've got 60 more days. Obviously, if something problematic rises, we have to take care of business, right? But my goal is to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, make sure that they receive training and the tools that they need to be successful. I'm not interested in setting anyone up for failure. I'm interested in people being successful. There's no sense in having staff, struggling and failing. This doesn't serve the city and the citizens well.
Right.
So, and some of that does. And then to be frank, I was asked what is restructuring mean? Well, that could mean terminating. That could mean demoting. That could mean reassigning. That could mean hiring new people. It's all sorts of stuff. It's just I can't give definite answers right now about what that means. But yes, everything is being assessed. I don't want anyone on staff to feel, that their job's on the line right now. No one's job is on the line right now. We're still assessing.
Well, one of the things that I would like to see the department have is more of a a career ladder kind of position where you
Yes,
start off as a clerical one, and
right.
these are your basic duties as a clerical one, clerical two. You might incur a little bit more pay, but a little more duties.
Right.
And three and so forth.
Mhm.
So we have staff that are at the clerical one position,
Mhm.
then they get compensated for that, because I mean, I know that there are some positions that just, require probably less experience, but they're either, those folks are trainable, so if that's something that can be looked at as part of this, I think that would be a great idea to just
Yeah.
kind of structure it like that.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, you attract and you keep people when you have the when you are creating internal opportunities for them. Obviously, you start with reasonable pay to attract quality employees and to keep them there. Then you have the incentives of upper mobility or potential raises or that kind of stuff.
That raises a question too, on like, would that be like an employee manual type thing, that, would you put that in like an employee manual, or just would be a separate email type thing?
What, as far as what offering?
Progression, like clerical one, clerical two.
I mean, typically organizations don't put that in writing. It's just evident with the structure of
Okay.
the staff, and you'll see, like intermediate clerk,
Okay,
senior clerk two, office manager, secretary one, secretary two. That's how you kind of show that.
so that'd be pretty much internal with you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, always I can present a scale of some kind, or
Yeah.
to council and to the public if they like, but I didn't necessarily need to be a
Okay.
policy.
One thing that the city employee needs to understand is that restructuring is part of everybody's business these days.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
And it happens almost every year.
Yeah.
So get used to it. If they're not used to restructuring, I mean, you're not going to grow if you don't restructure. You can't stay the same as forever.
Right.
The other thing is, you know what? They need to ask questions too. It's not just on you.
Right.
If they're not sure, they need to ask.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
not going to be a dumb question.
Mhm.
It's just be
Yeah.
guided in the right way. They need to understand just because you've done it like that 10 years ago or 5 years ago doesn't mean it's the right way. Ask, be involved.
Yeah.
It's the restructuring for everybody,
Yeah.
not just us.
I've let staff
So-
know that my door is open to them.
Good.
If they need something, I'm going to be available to them. If they have concerns or issues, I want to help them resolve it. I'm not. I think the idea was that I was coming in and going to be lopping off heads, and I wanted to make sure they understood that's not how it's going to work. I'm going to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, down from our most inexperienced clerk to our most experienced maintenance person. But no, I mean, there's still a lot of work to be done. I am gathering that information. And I did also let them know, that they need to speak up. If they're doing something they're not comfortable with, they need to let me know so we can figure out, if someone else can handle it. Is it something you're supposed to be doing anyway? There's just all sorts of things.
That'd
Because
be good 'cause you get that, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'd let them know that we're here to work together. And
That's good people.
yeah, we've got a good we've got basically. I mean, to be honest with you, it feels like we're starting from the ground up. But I'm grateful for the opportunity because now it gives me a chance to sit with individuals and learn learn the facets of their jobs.
Yeah.
And
They
that way I can
adapted-
that way
they
that,
adapted without you. Before you, they adapted pretty quick.
yeah. So I mean that helps me help them.
Let me
So
ask you a
sure.
question. It's just a question. Is there a need, like maybe once a month, just because you're new,
hmm
they need to get comfortable with you and used to you and used to your ways.
Mhm.
Maybe bringing everybody in at 7:30 for 30 minutes, meet like all your staff.
Like a monthly?
Yeah, like a
Monthly
monthly. Yeah.
staff meetings.
Like what, everybody, your field guys, your office people, everybody. This is your meeting,
Mhm.
and we
Yeah.
could even attend one of them if we needed
And
to.
that'd be good, like you said, some guys say, hey, I call in a work order and I don't get it till next week.
Yeah, it's just pro and
What's
cons.
What's the deal?
Yeah.
I
How
like
to
that.
move forward,
Mhm.
and they get used to you because, you need to earn their trust and they need to earn your trust and work together.
And it would be kind of nice even for us to attend, because
Absolutely.
we could get to know them.
Yep.
And at least if I'm out somewhere, I'll be like, hey, he works for the
Yep.
city, and I can thank him for a great
Yep.
job.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe once a month or something.
Yeah.
Well, I
monthly
think
meetings.
that would be, I think that's a good idea. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great opportunity for them. Sometimes staff feel a little bit more comfortable speaking out if there's more people on their
Yeah.
level
Mhm.
there,
Yeah.
than one-on-one. So that might give an opportunity, but it also gives an opportunity for the maintenance guys to let the ladies at the office know what it is they are working on and then they get the maintenance guys know what the ladies at the office are working on, because I think sometimes there's a disconnect
Yeah.
where the ladies call the maintenance guys and say, hey, we need this done. I mean, they've been calling on, and the maintenance guys are like, well, I'm already kind of working on that, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to get this, because there's a little disconnect. But doing a once a month like
Mhm.
team meeting with
Yeah.
everybody,
Yeah.
even if it's just a 30-minute thing.
Yeah, no, they are beneficial. Like in the last meeting, I can tell you there was you said disconnect. That reminded me of something, was that, and I'm guilty of it too. So if there was an issue, water leak or whatever, the maintenance person or a Jerry, whoever was getting called directly
Yeah.
and being told to go fix it. Well, that never turned into a work order. So what needs to happen is no matter what, whether it's y'all or me calling.
I did call about my meter.
Right, right.
Hey, I need a work order.
Sure, yeah. But I'm just saying, like like I was guilty of it. I would tell Jerry, hey Jerry, someone told me let's go fix it. Right? I should have gone to Angela first and said work order put in the system. So we all just, if because you're all in the community, you see issues, you want it addressed. We probably need to just, if you don't want to do it, just let me know and I'll make sure it gets through the work order system. But that's how we can just track their work. Yeah. But I mean so you disconnect. We are figuring out.
So maybe
You know-
we can maybe kind of schedule like the third Monday of the month,
Mhm.
7:30, just to where we kind of have an idea to where, I would like to attend and I can let my
Yeah.
job know, hey, I'm gonna be a little
Sure.
late this day.
Well, what about a lunch hour? I mean, would that be too much trouble for y'all to kind of come through? Well, you probably would, right? 'Cause, I mean,
No, I
No?
mean, it's, I think, I only said 30 minutes before because usually they're fresh.
mhm.
They go
I
in
meant
about
my-
it's kind of hard. I can almost guarantee
Somebody's gonna be there.
you won't have 100% of your people there at lunch.
Mhm.
They're tied up on a break or they're doing this. Normally in the mornings, everybody's starting their day.
Mhm.
You know what? You normally come in at 8, but you're going to come in at 7:30 on Monday, this date,
Yeah,
for a meeting, a 30-minute meeting.
like the first Monday of each month or
And then-
the
and
second
then
Hey,
one
Monday.
that'd be good, cause we have the meeting on the first Tuesday, we kinda,
Kind of have a feel or.
And then one thing that they need to understand is that because that meeting can go on for, it's not a complaint. It's a, how do we go,
Yeah,
how we doing?
yeah, how we doing? And it's not throwing darts at anybody because
Yeah.
you'll never get out of there.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
It
So,
wants to be a good meeting.
the last, I mean, I feel like I've met with them a little bit. First time maintenance altogether, but I mean, our meetings are anywhere for about 2 or 3 hours.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause
this is
there's a lot of
just a
issues.
short, this
There's
is
a lot-
just a short update,
Sure.
and let everybody kind of know where everybody is and move on. Something that you can run the discussion and, and just kind of let them know where things are. If they have complaints or concerns or whatever, they need to come in one-on-one and meet with you.
And
Yeah,
there's
definitely.
There's nothing
So-
wrong with you saying, hey, this month, at some time, you can be getting an email about policy and
Mhm.
procedures, things that you got to
Right.
sign. Be checking your email.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
exactly.
Sure.
Good idea.
Yep, no, very
Um,
good idea.
Now, the billing and payment issues, I know that at last city council, we had a financial report and there were some issues with some of I guess, the report that was given was for checks that were over 5,000 or 5,000 and over.
Right.
So there were some questions about some of the vendors that were not on that list, but I think that there were obviously some concerns because it seemed like maybe some vendors weren't getting paid on time or were behind, but some of those were less than 5,000, so
Correct.
they weren't on that report.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So as
So
far
they
as
were paid? So they were paid?
as far as, I mean, that's
Because I know there was one that was a concern because there was a date in
And,
November or December, was it? There was
Yeah.
no date.
yeah. I think so.
right. I think that it was because it was one of those, I think it was Republic, if I'm not mistaken, that they were giving us 60 days. So
Mm.
it was paid in October, but it was actually was it September? Yeah, it's actually for
No,
September.
I think it was a November, but it was paid in December, so you had 2 Decembers
Right.
instead of
Okay.
1 November.
Oh,
So that made sense, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
was just a timing issue.
So why 5,000?
It was this number we picked out just because, like I said,
It's not a number you just picked out.
well, I just
It's a
decided
policy.
5,000.
It's a
Oh, it's a
policy.
policy?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
It's the one I gave you, that the Americans spent 25,000 or
Mhm.
anything after 5,000 goes to council,
And if there, anything after 5,000?
the council,
Okay.
it's a policy.
Maybe that's where I got the number from. I don't know. But
So the mayor has 2,500?
25,000,
25,000.
but it's, what is it?
Well,
5,000?
well, anything over 5,000, that's what I mean. It wasn't just 5,000. It was anything 5,000 or above. That's what that list was
Oh, okay.
On the report.
on that
just on the
report. So
Okay,
anything
that-
under
that's where
5,
that number probably, that's why we got it out.
maybe that's where I got that number from. Yeah.
Yeah,
But if I can go through this list real quick and then we can kind of
Sure.
come back from it, because these were basically the issues that were brought up at the council. And I basically asked staff to provide a reason why that occurred and what the plan's going to be.
Okay.
So my question was, why were payments to Allegiance delinquent? The answer we received was these invoices had always been emailed to the previous administrator. When they left, their email was not turned off so that we could access the important emails. These were then forwarded to the mayor or city administrator. I did not receive them. So these were delinquent from November, December, January, and February. I started that report in January. So again, I'm not sure what the disconnect was. We are addressing this, and we are going to be making good on our payments to Allegiance. And we are going to make sure that we talk with our IT to make sure that there's anything the forward administrator's email that gets forwarded to me, so that we don't miss anything.
So,
Sure.
so, is that normal? Do they send the bill to the administrator, or they send the bill to the?
I think, I don't know what, here, I can't give you that answer, but normally you'd want to send it to the manager of the finance department and then the finance person, usually.
Which would be the accounting person
right.
and you?
Right, yeah, whoever is like,
Both.
right, so in here, ideally, going forward, I want to make sure that I'm seeing those invoices, and then it's also being copied, or either I'm copied or it goes directly to our bookkeeper, or vice versa. Either way, we should both be involved.
Because
Do we
if
get
you,
paper? Go ahead.
if you do it that way, then
Mhm.
that's no longer
Right.
a reason.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
On that, do we get paper invoices too?
It's a little bit of both. I think Mayor might have suggested that we just have everyone do paper, just mail them in. We're gonna have scanners now, so we'll be able to digitize them.
So back on the mail, why do we still have a PO box?
That's a good question.
Well,
I met,
can't we can't-
I know, it's an extra cost because you know me, I'm trying to slash a little here, a little there. So I met with our postmaster and I said, why do we have a post office box? She's like, well, it's always been there, right? Okay. Well,
There's the
I said, so
There's the
I said, so
answer.
what prevents delivery directly to our office here? And they said, you don't have a box, and they don't want it on Voss. They want it on the other side of the building, because I guess the whoever delivers the mail needs to be able to park, get off, dump it, and then get off. You know, so that is something I'm going to meet with them later on. I'm going to probably the postmaster will come into the building and say, where do you think we need it? It'll be a little bit of a cost for to put in a mail slot and a secured box for it. But we'll at least get to save not paying a PO box. I was actually good. That'd be a question for you all. Is there any reason why you think we need actual PO box and not just have mail delivered to the
Donna,
building?
do you need a mailbox also over here?
Do I have a mailbox?
Do you need one?
No, they bring it in. Or I tell you what they're using right now is my book drop.
So they do drop it off your mail here.
Yeah, so
Oh,
basically you could call it a mailbox.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you see something like that. Yeah, in the door, easy enough.
There, we just keep it right there.
Yeah.
Tag on right there.
Yeah. I mean, someone suggested.
Donna, you need a new mailbox. Donna.
It's a little bit rough out there.
We just would have to change because I'm sorry, what's the address here?
516.
516, and I've seen 516, 514. So I think I put 5 because I'm still learning the address. So we'd have to change all our billing to 516. I think it might be just easier to put a simple slot like that over there and still keep it 514.
Mhm.
So what
So-
about this 514 City Hall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Boss?
So let's move on to the
Yes.
Constellation.
Yes. So the Constellation, why were these payments missing from the Constellation New Energy? And the response was, when the report was ran, the checks were for 5,000 or more. There was a check from November that was under 5,000 for 4,179. So they were correct. They weren't missing. They were there. We just didn't run it. So I think we probably suggested that maybe we do something less, about 3,000, or go back to the bills. What's the kind of from regular vendors? What's the average amount being paid? And then we start from that number. That way you can see consistency. Does anyone have any questions about that?
No, I think
Okay.
TMRS is kind of the same
Yeah,
thing.
TMRS thing was the same thing. It was just the checks were less than 5, so they were there. Let's see. As far as the let's see, why were all the information from the approved budget not entered into Encode? The landfill contracts and sales tax expenses for garbage funds don't look right. That was my question to the staff. This is the answer. All the items for Encode in the budget. I'm not sure why these two were missed. I have already made the correction in code and the garbage fund is in balance. I have not verified that. I was just told that, but that happened after the meeting.
Who's I?
Was that,
Who's the I?
Mm-mm.
we probably don't want to get
Oh.
into that. Yeah. But yeah, so, whoever entered in the budget didn't do it all the way,
Okay.
but that's been addressed. They said they've updated it now. I'll just need to follow up and verify, to make sure that that's been occurred. So, and we had an issue with checks being mailed out to vendors without signatures. I asked why that was. That the answer was that we were training the new person, and we had a hectic day, had many distractions. We were trying to get all the bills out before the holiday weekend. After this incident, we will focus on payables and better time management. Checks will be additionally verified prior to being mailed out. So I addressed this again with staff again. So we do have someone who's been here with December, but I don't think it's really got a good training. So I consider them fairly new. They are learning. They are being cross-trained. It was a major oversight. So again, checks will be double verified. I'll definitely be looking at all the checks to make sure that they're at least signed before they go out. So I think this was a big eye opener as far as efficiency goes, and we can do a lot better. So, does anyone have any questions about that? Okay. Were the ad valorem taxes received and entered into code? I know that that was brought up during the last meeting. So this particular person that I asked did not doesn't do the entries for the ad valorem taxes. So the answer needed to come from another staff member, and basically, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. I should have printed that out too. Basically, the answer for that was we did receive payments. They were deposited, but they were not entered into Encode. The question I had was why not? They said, again, just spread thin, overlooked it, dropped the ball, took responsibility for it, and verified all the payments, and we'll have that updated. I asked, what's the plan to prevent this from happening? It is to make sure that this is a top priority no matter what, that entries need to be made in real time, and nothing needs to be held up, because obviously that's how you forget stuff, right? You put it off to the side.
I think, didn't Mr. Bain say something about we still getting paper checks?
Yes,
Then we can ACM, or was it AC?
I am, yeah, the whole city is not set up for any kind of direct deposit. So that is something I'm exploring for payroll, for other vendors and
yeah.
stuff like that,
Yeah.
receiving or paying. Again, we just want to go more digital. Like I said, yeah,
It's good too.
right. And it's all digital, because if a check can get lost, I sent you a check, no, you didn't. That kind of stuff
Okay,
happens
good.
when it's not digitized, but so, yeah. Let's see. So are all invoices entered into Encode weekly? I know that came up, and the assumption may be that it wasn't, but in fact, I was told that the invoices are entered daily. So that's I'm still looking into that, because I know if they're entered daily, how do we miss? So that was like the next question, but I'll be able to satisfy that.
But I think the mayor, when you first started, remember he said, hey, I want all these, you had some kind of, you told the secretary.
Well, I think it was weekly.
You told him to do something, hey.
You wanted
Mail only, and you
Right.
put them in.
We
Right.
had one person up in the front
Yes.
who was just, their responsibility
Yeah.
was to open all the mail instead of multiple people opening, just having one person open mail and any invoices, entering those invoices as they came in. So that's kind of a procedure. It's not necessarily on paper, but, sending some type of a memo or something saying, that this individual will open all the mail and, dispose of, because the city gets a lot of
Too
junk
many
mail,
mails, yeah.
Mhm.
so disposing of junk mail and then, organizing invoices in a way so they can be processed that same day.
Right.
I mean, it should be somebody who can have this responsibility.
Right. Well, the procedure is to enter them in daily. So I guess that started with you.
Yeah, but
so-
I mean, it was well, it's not really my job,
Sure.
you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I just do this. You know, I
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
So I think everybody needs to be cross-trained, and it has to be, I mean, somebody who has, you know, maybe somebody who's just working the window periodically, you know, that, you know, they, as mail comes in the morning, their first job is to go through mail, open mail, you know, get rid of anything that's, you know, just all these ads and stuff that we get. And then invoices need to be separated so they can be processed,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
and then, you know, whether that person's going to process the invoices or hand them over to the person who's going to be processing the invoices. So like that, they get stamped, received, boom, received, scanned, and then handed on to the next person to enter into the
Yeah.
system. So there
I
has
mean,
to be something.
and to go back to some of the clerical stuff, right? Because we're talking about people kind of, you know, there have been balls have been dropped, right? At yeah, and we talked about this earlier. People maybe being, you know, maybe do a little bit more than they need to be doing. We need to reassess their abilities or their duties on a daily. Um, I'm not making an excuse for this, but I can tell you the person who enters in our ad valorem is also the same person that takes care of our water bills and payments and stuff like that. Um, as of now, and I'm not making a final decision of this because we're working just kind of working out because I want your feedback on this. Is I think that person shouldn't be dealing anything with up in front because they have to stop what they're doing,
Right.
get up and go take care of the front. So again, that's going to be part of the assessment. Is like, does this person need to be in away from the front where they can just focus on taking care of work orders, data entry, making sure that encode's being updated daily, you know, assisting maybe the finance staff with getting what they need to make sure that they're doing what they need to be doing or be able to do what they need to do. So again, this all kind of goes back into, you know, the restructuring aspect. So anyway,
So I have a question on that real quick, Mayor, because you talked about the part-timer over there at the court.
The court, yeah, the
So
municipal court.
who does that person report to now?
the judge right now.
They report, they should be reporting to them, but they work for the judge right
Okay,
now.
so
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 the judge
can-
is a contractor, so she really, I mean,
so
as a
can
contractor,
you,
she shouldn't be over
So
anybody.
could you immediately have her report here to him?
Yeah, no
And
problem.
then he can put her to the assignments and then it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
that
used
might-
her, we've used her before,
Mhm.
when
Yeah,
people
but
were out on vacation.
Right now,
and stuff.
she'll go, I guess, directly over there.
Yes.
So.
Yeah,
from now
that's
on-
all she's focused on is that. But
So
it's
now over here,
Yeah.
reports to this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Monday through Thursday, or, I mean, I don't know how often they have court. If
right.
it's once
That's
a
what I
week.
need. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
But
So
they're
like
gonna
we're
have
starting
court
with the
once a
job
month.
duties first, see
Yeah.
what she does, and then I'll be able to kind of sit over there for a little bit and kind of see for myself how it works. And then
Because if they're having court once a month, once a week, and people aren't showing up, like I think you went to court this week and nobody
Yes.
showed up, then
Mhm.
how about, let's just do court, you know, on the first Friday of the month or
There you
the
go.
second Friday of the month or
Mhm.
something like that. So people know that these are the dates that there's court,
Yeah.
and we make sure that people show up and they're not scattered throughout the month.
Mhm.
We can knock them all out in one day, even
Yeah.
if the prosecutor and the judge have to stay later on that day, do
Mhm.
the morning session and an afternoon session. And then we can utilize that clerk at City Hall the rest of the
And
time.
Mayor, they used to do that back in the day, remember? They
Yeah,
had
I
one
remember.
day and that's, hey, everybody
Yeah.
sitting out there, hey, this is
So,
the day, boom,
yeah.
boom.
So, I mean, so I would think I'll jump on this like right away, like next week, and
Yeah.
bring her over here, and hey, you manage her, and because sounds like you have a full plate.
Yeah.
You could utilize her.
Oh, for sure.
oh yeah, no, we need more people.
So-
Yeah.
Because we alternate lunches also, so
Yeah.
somebody's always there. We don't lock the door. You
Mhm.
know, like some departments lock the door at
Yeah.
lunch hour.
Yeah.
So we alternate lunches. So sometimes the ladies, a group will go out and only one person stays there.
Yeah.
You know, and then they come back and then the other person goes. So having an additional staff member there, I think would be
Now,
a good idea.
now
But
who
you're
does
right,
it-
because right now they get up and they go to the, yeah, I can see that, you
Right.
know.
Who does the permits?
Um,
Is there only one trained to do that?
well, she was. They were still in training. I mean, they're still training. They were just sort of here, and then we actually one of my first in my first week we sort of approached an issue and sort of worked it out,
Yeah.
and then sort of put sort of a practice in place.
Okay.
So again, that's part of that sort of like, should that position be handling that? Should that go over here? And,
Okay.
you know, or do I take all this away, give that permit to this? You know, these are the things we
To
need
me,
to
that
explore.
clerk, the judges think that she does clerical stuff. And I
Mhm.
think permit, it would be perfect.
It
One of the
could.
things that we actually discussed was putting our permit forms online.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
like that, if you need to pull a permit for something, you can just go to the website and
Fill it out.
pull it, fill it out, and then just bring it and drop it off.
Yep.
You don't need to be coming and somebody handing you a permit or nothing. You fill
Or
it out
even paying
online
online too. I mean, that'd be
and maybe
great.
even pay it
Yeah, that'd be
online,
great.
and that's it. You know.
Yeah, we need to just, we also, I mean, embracing technology will also reduce the traffic to the office. If we give people the ability to take care of stuff on their phone while they're at work or on lunch, and they don't work in town,
Yeah.
I mean, that'll free up a lot of time.
Well, like I said, all these cities that I look up, they have everything online.
So,
Yep,
like,
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
we should have a lot more stuff online. I mean, but then again, we're limited with how the tech was designed and kept. But that's what I'm also
Yeah.
assessing too.
Can
Is,
you do a website, can you get it from Houston, can you bring it down over here?
what do you mean, like a house? We get a contractor out of Houston to maintain.
Can we bring it back over?
Can we look at a contractor from here? Yeah, I mean, you look at the website, it can be, obviously it can be handled anywhere, but it's just different companies and different capabilities. It's possible to export from every company, but I want to make sure that this company just wasn't sort of, was saying like with Toshiba, right? They're saying we offer all these things to advance you, it was just resisting and we just gave up. I want to make sure that all the people that we're dealing with wasn't the same situation, because if we can maintain relationships and just improve them, then even that's even better. But if for some reason they just can't provide what we need going forward, then we need to move on to something else. Yeah. Well, one
Yeah, I
thing,
remember one time, like in your business, I remember, because my tío Darío owned the store, right? And that, of course, they didn't sell alcohol at the time, but, well, legally. But, but I remember vendors coming and like, you know, delivering to my tío Darío's store and collecting money right then and there. And I know your guys don't collect money
Nope.
anymore.
Nope.
I mean, all that has to be kind of,
Sure don't.
and I remember, so, I mean, we need to get away from that where people can pay their things, whether it's
Yeah.
permits, maybe have an invoice where they're applying for electric permit, boom, it gives them the total.
Mhm.
They're, a plumbing permit, boom. And then it gives them the total, they can pay it online, they can sign the paper, I mean, just,
Yeah.
there's no
Well,
purpose in coming
We
to
used to have
city.
big safes in the trucks, now more. Not.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
See?
So this DocuWare, it's got so many capabilities, but right now we're limited because we don't the city does not have a cloud server. We have an on-premise server. So we are working on that. So once we start, and it's a matter of coordinating our local IT with Toshiba and DocuWare, and just sort of finding that middle ground where like, okay, boom, we can move forward and we can have that. So, and that also again provide us a shared drive so that everyone works for the city
Yeah.
has access to this drive, and that's where like our FMLA forms are at. This is where our city manual is all the time, so it's always accessible
Right.
to employees. Just standard forms that they need to.
Well, bring her over. Bring her over to help you.
But
because-
back on that too, also, can you or we get some money to update all our ordinances again? 2020 was the last thing,
Okay.
right? I think.
I think so.
I know it's gonna
Because
cost some money.
right
but-
before y'all, I guess
I mean,
before
there's a
y'all
lot of,
left, I
it
think.
was-
See, that's gonna be also incorporated with permits, because all that has changed. How much it costs to do a house and all that. They can look online, oh, it's gonna pay 55, so they got the money here.
Yeah.
And that's a big one, the ordinance, muni code. Muni code.
I mean, really, we shouldn't rely on a separate organization to house our ordinances. I don't know if that's legally we're supposed to do that.
Everybody does, every city does it.
Every state does it.
Yeah.
Every city does
But
that.
we should at least have it on our website.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Muni code does that for the website.
But what I'm saying is that we should have it ourselves where I can go in or someone can go in and update it ourselves, unless there's some law that I'm aware of that someone else has to do it.
For a lot of cities.
Sure, yeah. But what I'm saying is that if it's something that like just for example, so on our website, they would send the any kind of news, they would email that PDF to the contractor, and the contractor would be the one to put it on the website. I was finding there was a lag time about a day. And if it was on the weekend, it was a little more difficult, right? So I said, is there a way that we can do it? And he's like, oh yeah, there's a way you can do it. Let me just send you a training. So now he sent us the training. He's going to set up some logins, but now we can do it real time. So what I'm saying is like, there's got to be a possibility or a way that we can do it ourselves without occurring additional costs.
Well, that's good
Mhm.
for right now, but say that our ordinance is 4 years old.
Oh, I see what
They
you're
go
saying.
look at the laws and say, hey, that doesn't pertain.
Oh, I
anymore.
see. So that's
So
okay.
they go in and look at this ordinance and say, this is outdated.
Oh, I see.
You might want to Unicode statute so change that for like, I don't think they have like kids of teenagers. They don't have a curfew no more. That's thrown out.
Okay.
We still got that ordinance in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some, I think like Portland, if you go to their website and you go to their ordinances, it'll tell you that you're leaving the Portland website because they house all that in a different,
Yeah.
like
Mm,
with I guess another contractor keeps that
probably.
and updates it for them
Unicode,
and stuff.
yeah.
So I think maybe that's what
Okay.
it's
It's
called.
Unicode. Yeah, and
Um,
they keep, like I said, some of that stuff's, we don't have, like.
I guess I get
teenager stuff.
yeah, I guess that makes sense because I mean I guess the service you're paying for is for an analyst to look at your material and you know because
And
that's a whole other
legislation every
job,
2 years changes.
right? Yeah, no,
And so
yeah, that makes sense.
That ordinance might not be good. You might want to take a look at it again,
Okay,
or, I'm just keep us out of
That's
trouble.
yeah, no, that's a great yeah. Okay,
So as far as this, we're talking about payment
Yeah,
issues,
there's-
everything, you kind of caught up with that. I mean, I know,
yes, I have not visually verified that. I was told that these things are updated, so that's what my first thing Monday morning was to do is okay, show me all this has been done. And just to finish this off, so the last issue was why is the percentage of the budget under expenditure summary so low? Well, the answer to that was because the past due invoices for Allegiance for the 5 months and the current one they weren't put in there. Um, so
So they weren't put in there, but they weren't paid, right?
right, both, yeah, and then there are some instances here like with the Constellation where payment was made, they just weren't entered.
Okay.
Yeah, but in this case, they weren't paid and it wasn't entered, so that's why that was low.
So is there anything in our system? And I know that the money is there because we didn't pay it. But in the mayor's eyes, if he's looking at this like he has been, he's thinking, oh, we got more money now. And is there anything in the system that can prevent this from reoccurring?
I
Like,
mean,
is there a red flag that can pop up that says, hey, you didn't pay this one? And I know they should have said something, but
well, these reports really should be run, if not every other week, for sure monthly, and then analyzed. I mean
so
that
you'll catch it like that.
yes, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I would like to eventually, once we kind of get this straightened out, institute sort of weekly internal audits of our books. Where we kind of keep a separate log. And then we pull this report, and all you have to do is match it. That's how you can find errors.
Are we gonna implement having this type of financial reporting on monthly meetings now?
Yes, yeah. You'll get the summary report and then the check.
Hey, the gentleman that came on our meeting, can we access him or get him to help out in the interim, try to teach these ladies also?
I mean, yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, my understanding is that I think the contract ended in September, but it was written in a way where it's almost like we could just pick it up where we left off, if that's what y'all want to do. I can reach out to him and see if what he's willing to do or wanting to do, or we can, have him do.
Just to get you back on track,
Yeah, and that would have been sort of an ask once I talked to him, once I got some more information to council.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to mention Nick because he's not on the agenda.
Sure.
But that's a good point. I mean, we invested so much in the gentleman
Yeah,
for it just to go out the window, even
Yeah.
30 days to help you train and
yeah,
develop.
I mean, not every day, it's just every other day, maybe once a week.
But
Just to-
certainly discuss the
Yeah.
cost.
Yeah.
well, that was
Yeah.
kind of the intention. I think we met during the council meeting when his contract was getting ready to lapse.
Yeah.
We met about extending it, and because of the financial situation where we were in, we decided not to
Mhm.
extend it. He kind of was trying to finish up a few things, and maybe we should have kept him a little bit longer. So
To,
could have-
to verify that it was done
finished and
correctly.
verified
It'll help you
everything.
out, it'll help.
But-
It would sort of it would definitely assist me in having a strong financial person there, because again with everything else I'm having to deal with. I mean, if I was doing finance all day long, no problem, but that's not all the stuff I'm doing, you know.
Speaking of finance, do we have somebody in San Antonio, a financial advisor that we had retained her or something? Remember?
We were considering bringing them in on kind of a retainer. I
No,
don't
no,
remember
I
what
think
they're
the
called.
city had somebody,
We had them, but they ended the contract.
oh, did they? Okay.
We were
okay.
trying to look at possibly, it was somebody that
I don't- I remember
could
some.
help us
Yeah.
also in year round kind of.
but that
And they
was-
could also help us with,
Yeah.
loans
Yeah.
and, kind of
Yeah,
do the legwork for us.
I
on
know we
that.
had the retainers.
Yeah.
But the contract with them lapsed and we were
Okay.
trying to get it renewed, but again, because of our financial situation, it
Yeah.
really wasn't something that we could consider at the time. And I mean, today, honestly, yeah, the balance on our bank account is, it's
Increasing.
increased, but
But-
still, we still have a lot of bills that we're
But-
still paying, and then we have a lot of maintenance, like all equipment that we've talked about. That
I mean,
needs to
you
be
are
repaired and-
correct about all that. I've seen the guys out there. I know the jetter is,
Yeah,
I
the
mean, I
jetter's
know
pretty
that
much
you have
shot.
to borrow somebody's and then the customer here,
And
our
when I heard
residents,
about
people
that, I
are,
said,
yeah,
"What's a jetter?"
yeah. I've seen it and that thing's
I
a
didn't
piece of
know.
junk.
Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
even like our pumps, like some of our pumps that we use to pump the water, like remember, you've been there when they were fixing it here on Main Street, that they were underwater because the pumps weren't working and they weren't pumping fast enough. Most of our pumps aren't working right now. We're having to borrow pumps when we get a water leak like that, and we're trying to fix it with the water on. I think Jerry and Kyle have done a really good job of identifying cutoffs now. So they're able like to cut off water where before they were trying to work on it live. But unfortunately, some of the cutoffs, are stuck and you can't turn them, or you turn them and then nothing cuts off. They just keep turning and turning.
Yeah, our some of the valves we have in town need to be
But
replaced.
Elizabeth has
So-
an opinion on borrowing stuff. You want to share with us?
Yes,
Elizabeth?
I do not feel that we should be borrowing anything from anybody. I think I spoke with you, Sal, maybe about almost a month ago? Then you were telling me we had borrowed a piece of equipment from Sit.
Hmm.
And I told him that I don't like that we're borrowing, because what if it breaks on our time?
Well,
And I used the example, what if I borrowed your weed eater and I broke your weed eater? I would feel that it would be my responsibility to buy you a new weed eater.
you're pretty nice.
So, that's.
Well, you're right. You're right. I mean,
Yes.
technically, we should have interlocals with other organizations,
That's it.
but it's. I mean, not to shirk anything, but it's would be more for them to force us to interlocal to use. You're right. It is. Ethically, the obligation would be ours if we misused it and it was broken. So, yeah, with that, I'm hoping that'll help support buying new or equipment or.
We need
yeah,
our own
yeah.
equipment.
We do need our own
And
equipment.
we need equipment that's gonna even save us half the time
Right.
if we have to purchase something like that.
Right. Yeah.
We do borrow, they borrow stuff from us, they even borrow staff from us sometimes because sometimes they're
So can we
understaffed.
tell them when they borrow the
And,
stuff?
I think that
Staff.
they,
No, I don't want to break stuff.
so, it's kind of almost like a unwritten rule
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you
Still-
help us, we help
still,
y'all,
like I said,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I think,
And,
like I said, we should-
but if we should have our own
Yeah.
equipment that's functioning and working and not have to go that route.
Could we maybe even ask our maintenance guys to come up with a list of stuff? that
Oh,
we
they got a
need?
list.
Oh, they're working on it.
They
They're
got
working on it
list.
already.
I mean, I would like to know, not that I have.
They have a
No,
list.
No, I've asked them for the list, and that's another thing too. Is we again, this is our first week having our 7th employee. They've been knocking it out. I know there's still a few issues with efficiency, and but that'll hopefully free up our most senior member, our team leader on maintenance, to work with me to get me the list. I think again, back to clerical, I feel as if someone needs to be designated to maintenance exclusively to do the legwork, because Jerry's out there busting his hump, fixing, getting the dirt, getting the mud, getting the goo. But to pull away to find some quotes, follow up on the quotes, create the PO, bring it in, get it approved. I mean, it's pulling away from doing some of the work. Again, we're getting back into spreading people a little too thin, maybe focusing someone in the office that you need to help them with this kind of stuff, get them trained up. That'll definitely make sure that work is just going, you know, because we gotta stay on top of that stuff. But having pulling away someone who's physically doing the work to do some
Yeah.
clerical stuff, I think, you know, it'll
I
help.
agree.
So, but does anyone have any more questions about this particular list? I mean, we
No,
are.
that's good, because I like what you're doing, restructuring and everything. Donna, you have any issues over here with the library?
No, but I do like that getting together. All the years I was in Senate, we had lunch and learn. And once a month, we brought a sack lunch. And it was important because I know kind of the other departments, what they were doing, and they knew what I was doing. I think it's important.
Yeah.
I like
I
that.
agree.
like
Yeah, I
that.
think that's a good idea that Councilman Dominguez brought up.
A lot of
Very good idea.
personal feelings better among the employees
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, and that point,
Morale.
people call me,
I think we talked about in the little video.
We're about like how your government works, cities, you know, and people just, I mean, people are, it's just hard to get people to read stuff, so when we put things in visual terms, it's a very quick, easy way to understand. I think we can reach a lot more people.
Myself in front of the camera saying, "Hello, my name's David Maldonado. I'm your mayor, and I have no power." These guys. Well, thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and adjourn for the day. All right, meeting's adjourned.
I don't know if I needed that, but I made one. Let's go.